Studying in Archive University was Taehyung's dream, but some people were too busy trying to turn his dream into a nightmare. Right now, he was surrounded by Jungkook and his gang. It all started early that morning when Taehyung saw Surs being bullied by Jungkook again. At first, he decided to ignore it, thinking, how long can he save the girl who can never protect herself? But seeing Surs's pleading eyes, he stopped. He did nothing but inform the teachers, and as a result, they gave Jungkook detention. Jungkook, you want to be a hero, right? You have no idea what this villain can do, he said, tapping the baseball bat in his palm. Taehyung, will you let me go? I have classes. Jungkook, yes, and I will take your class. Taehyung sighed and put his hands inside his pockets. Taehyung, you want to beat me? Jungkook let out a dark chuckle. Jungkook, no, I want to humiliate you and show you that you're nothing in front of me. Taehyung, and how are you going to do this? Jungkook's smirk poured his iced tea over Taehyung's head. Taehyung shivered. The cold liquid slid down from his hair to his neck and then soaked his shirt, making it stick to his toned abs. He brushed his wet hair backward and opened the top to buttons of his shirt. The girls around gasped. Some of them screamed. Taehyung, thank you so much. You've humiliated me enough. He rolled his eyes and left from there. He's so damn hot. Just look at his abs. Jungkook's pink bunnies, his fangirls kept gawking at Taehyung. He glared at his fangirls, feeling defeated and humiliated. YN looked at her husband and frowned. YN, did you spill tea on your shirt? Taehyung, no, I got bullied. YN gasped. YN, what? You didn't fight back? Taehyung, I didn't have to, you know. No one can bully a hot guy, whatever they did. A hot guy like me always looks hot, and the bully will look like a loser, he said with a smirk and started walking ahead. YN, hey, what do you mean? Taehyung, nothing. YN, listen, Mr. Hot Guy, if you act like a pervert playboy again, I will poke your eyes out with a fork. She gritted her teeth, her whole face turned red with anger. Taehyung chuckled. Taehyung, calm down, pregnant lady. I was just kidding, he said, wrapping his arm around her shoulder while walking. Later that night, Taehyung walked inside the apartment after a tiring day at work. His eyes widened when he saw YN gagging at the sink. He ran to her and started caressing her back. However, YN didn't throw up. She leaned her back against the kitchen counter and wiped her mouth. YN, I've been feeling like vomiting since evening, but nothing is coming up. Taehyung, did you eat anything? YN, I tried, but it's making me nauseous. Taehyung, is there any specific thing you're craving for? YN, yeah, I'm craving for my bed. She walked toward the bed with shuffling steps and laid down. Taehyung came and sat next to her. YN, don't sit, go freshen up. I've prepared dinner for you. Taehyung, and who told you to do this? You're not feeling well. You should have been taking rest instead of cooking. YN, listen, I started enjoying cooking nowadays, and I'm improving. I think I'm going to be a great chef. Taehyung, you can do this after our babies are born. Right now, you're sick. YN, shut up. I'm pregnant, not sick. It's just sometimes Ping and Pong give me hard times. Taehyung, Ping and Pong. YN, yeah, our babies. I named them Ping Pong. Taehyung, that's hilarious. I think we should call them Hug and Kiss. YN, no pervert. That sounds cringy. Taehyung, fine, but you can't keep Ping and Pong either. YN, then how about Choco and Pie? Taehyung, don't compare my babies with food. I think Lucky and Charm. YN, no giggle and grin. It sounds full of happiness. Taehyung, Bug and Bean sounds good. YN, Rain and Sky. Taehyung, Snuggle and Cuddle. YN, Pip and Squeak. Taehyung, Base and Ball. YN, don't you dare to call my babies by that name. Chip and Dale, she said, sitting straight up on the bed. Taehyung, you, strength and power. The next 30 minutes, they kept making up names, or we could say arguing. YN, Thing 1 and Thing 2, she fell into the pillow. Taehyung laid down next to her and licked his dry lips. Taehyung, Baby 1, Baby 2, they were tired and hungry, but no one was ready to give up. YN, Twinkle and Taehyung, and Sparkle, he finished instantly. They jumped up from the bed together. Both of them looked at each other with a big, bright smile. Their eyes were shining. YN, that's it, Twinkle and Sparkle. Taehyung, we'll call our babies Twinkle and Sparkle. They laughed and hugged each other tightly. Taehyung, Hey, little babies, we just got you names. YN, and it's super shiny. 1 week later, their lives had settled into a hard routine. Every night, Taehyung came home feeling utterly exhausted and sometimes deeply humiliated. But YN was his cure, easing all his pain and struggle with her warm hug, soft smile, and sweet words. Like every day, Taehyung was standing near the fence of the university baseball field. He couldn't help himself. He had to stand there and watch the others playing. Coach Namjoon noticed him today too. He wondered why this kid always stood there. It was clear he loved the game, yet he never once said he wanted to play. So today, Namjoon decided to approach him. Namjoon, you want to play? Taehyung flinched badly. He was so immersed in the game that he didn't notice when the coach had walked up and stood next to him. Namjoon, want to hold the bat? The coach asked again. Taehyung shook his head no and quickly left from there. Jungkook noticed the exchange and smirked. Another evil plan was already forming in his mind. YN washed her face after throwing up everything she ate. Annie, are you okay? That burger wasn't that bad. YN looked at Annie and saw her blue eyes trembling with concern. She smiled. In these days, she had realized Annie genuinely cared for her, so YN decided not to hide the truth from her anymore. YN, I think the little twos inside me didn't like the burger. Annie tilted her head in confusion. Annie, little two. YN, yeah, Twinkle and Sparkle. They're being very naughty day by day. Every time I eat something, they make me throw up. She said this with a smile while gently caressing her still flat tummy. Annie frowned. Annie, what are you? Suddenly, realization hit her, and her eyes widened. Annie, you're pregnant. YN nodded. Annie, and with twins? YN nodded again. Annie let out a sharp, ear-splitting squeal that had several students nearby turning to look. Annie, oh my gosh, twins, Twinkle and Sparkle. This is the most exciting thing that has ever happened in this entire university. I'm going to be an honorary aunt. I need to tell Rex. He's going to be so happy. And we have to plan a nursery. We need tiny matching outfits. She spun around on the spot, ready to bolt, but didn't look where she was going. Rex was walking past the corner of the hallway, scrolling on his phone. Annie ran straight into him at full speed, knocking him completely off his feet. Rex went down with a surprised grunt, his books scattering across the floor. Rex, Annie, what the? Annie didn't even wait for him to finish. She grabbed his arm and hauled him up, shaking him excitedly. Annie, Rex, YN is pregnant, with twins. YN even named them, Twinkle and Sparkle. We're going to be an aunt and uncle. Rex, still blinking in shock from being tackled, finally processed the words. His jaw dropped, and then a huge proud grin spread across his face. He instantly forgot the pain of the fall. Rex, no way. Seriously, YN? That is incredible. Rex walked over, careful to step around Annie, and gave YN a warm, congratulatory hug. Rex, I'm so happy for you and Taehyung. You're going to be amazing parents. He then turned, his expression suddenly becoming very serious, and pointed a stern finger directly at Annie. Rex, and you, Miss Rex, we are going to be Uncle Rex and Aunt Annie. That means you are to stop running, stop tackling people, and stop dropping things. You will be extra careful around YN from now on, understand? For the sake of Twinkle and Sparkle. Annie beamed, her initial excitement tempered by the serious instructions. Annie, I promise. I'll be the carefulest aunt ever. It was late at night. Taehyung was hunched over his desk, studying while YN was settled comfortably on the bed, watching a movie on Taehyung's phone. Taehyung, YN, you should sleep. It's already very late. YN, I'm not sleepy. Taehyung, then come study with me. You don't even take a glance at your books. YN, no, I'm sleepy. Good night. She placed the phone next to her and closed her eyes. Taehyung shook his head in disbelief, already used to her sudden onset of sleepiness. Suddenly, YN shot upright in bed, her face turning pale. YN shit. Taehyung, what? YN, tomorrow is the last date of assignment submission. Taehyung, and you didn't do anything. He said this with a done face. YN, I thought I would do it later, but I forgot. Taehyung, you're always like this. Now, don't worry, just tell me what kind of assignment you got. I'll do it for you. YN, no way. You're already very tired because of classes and work. Taehyung, It's okay. I'm fine. YN. No. You need rest. Come and sleep. I'll manage tomorrow. Saying that, she quickly reached for the lamp and turned the lights off. Taehyung let out a resigned sigh, closed his books, and laid down next to her. YN woke up to a phone call. It was Taehyung's phone. She checked the caller ID with sleepy eyes, and her face instantly turned pale. Taehyung, who is it? YN? He asked in a sleepy voice, wrapping his arms around her waist and snuggling into her neck. YN, it's Jiwoo, she said in a low tone. Taehyung's sleep flew away hearing his mother's name. He took the phone from YN and looked at her. YN slowly looked away. Taehyung sighed and answered the call. He decided to end this today. Jiwoo, did you forget your mother after moving to the new town and university? She asked in a sharp voice as soon as Taehyung answered the call. Taehyung, what do you want, Mom? Jiwoo, it's been weeks since you moved away, and you didn't even bother to contact your own mother. You even ignored my calls and texts. Taehyung, is this why you called me this early morning? Jiwoo, look, I know you're upset with me because of that slut YN, but she's gone, and you've moved on from her. Then why punish your mother for no reason? YN was listening to everything. She looked down and was about to leave the bed, but Taehyung held her tightly and pulled her closer. Taehyung, who said she left? Who said I moved on? Jiwoo, what? What do you mean? Taehyung, YN is Mrs. Kim YN now. She's my wife, and we're living a happy life together here. Jiwoo was too stunned to talk for a few seconds. Jiwoo, if you're kidding, that's not funny. Taehyung, I'm not, and congratulations, you're going to be a grandma of our twins. Saying that, he cut the call and turned to YN, who was staring at him with glossy eyes. YN, was it necessary to talk to your mother like that? Taehyung, if she kept disrespecting my wife, then it is, he said, caressing her cheeks. Suddenly, his eyes turned dark. Taehyung, it's been so long since we did it, he said, sliding his hand inside her shirt and caressing her bare back. YN understood his intentions. YN, but Taehyung, I'm pregnant. Taehyung, I'll be careful, I promise. Saying that, he started kissing her. YN kissed him back immediately. Their hands got intertwined, and next to them, Taehyung's phone was buzzing. Jiwoo kept calling him, but they were too busy to respond. Taehyung entered the university campus and immediately noticed a major commotion. A huge crowd had gathered near the baseball field, surrounding a hastily made banner that read, Jungkook vs the new guy battle of the bat. A palpable sense of chaos and excitement filled the air. Jungkook stepped forward, a smug grin plastered on his face. Jungkook, well, look who decided to show up. I threw down a challenge, and the little hero actually agreed. Taehyung was shocked. He had no idea what was happening. Taehyung, a challenge? What is this? Jungkook, a simple baseball challenge. Whoever scores more home runs wins. Every student is watching. Taehyung realized he had no choice. Refusing now would be total humiliation. This was Jungkook's big plan to publicize his downfall. Jungkook thought Taehyung couldn't play, believing he only stood watching the practice because he didn't dare to join. Taehyung, fine, I accept. Jungkook smirked, thinking he had won before the game even started. The challenge began. Jungkook, batting first, was good, scoring a decent number of home runs. The crowd roared. Then, it was Taehyung's turn. At first, the students didn't take him seriously. Some laughed, and Jungkook used the opportunity to shout his best insults to humiliate him. Jungkook, look at him. He looks scared. Go back to watching from the fence, scrub. Taehyung ignored him. He gripped the bat a familiar, comforting weight and faced the pitcher. The crowd's laughter died in their throats as he took his stance. The first ball came in fast. The sound that followed was a sharp, perfect crack. The ball soared high over the outfield fence. Home run. The second ball was pitched. Crack, home run. The third ball. Crack, home run. Taehyung scored 3 home runs back to back. Everyone's jaw dropped to the floor. Jungkook's pink bunnies were screaming, but their cheers were now directed at Taehyung. They started drooling over him and cheered wildly for the new champion. Circe was watching from afar. She already liked him for helping her twice, and watching him play with such skill made her develop a serious crush. Another pair of eyes was glued to him, Coach Kim Namjoon. He watched the sheer power and perfect form of Taehyung's swings, immensely impressed. Taehyung threw the bat down, his heart pumping with joy. Playing his favorite game after so long felt incredible. Coach Namjoon walked onto the field and addressed the entire crowd. Namjoon, Taehyung, that was the kind of talent this team needs. You can join the team anytime. We need you. The announcement felt like gasoline on a fire. The glorious backfire burned Jungkook in a fit of rage and jealousy. Later that afternoon, as Taehyung was leaving campus, his phone rang. It was YN. Taehyung, hey, I'm on my way to pick you up. He heard a light, apologetic laugh. YN, hi baby, don't bother. Taehyung, don't bother what? Y or N, don't come to pick me up. Taehyung, why, are you feeling sick? YN, no, I'm fine, it's just the assignment. You know, the one I didn't do. The teacher gave me detention. Taehyung stopped dead in his tracks, his voice immediately hardened with worry and anger. Taehyung, detention? Y or N, are you serious right now? That was due today. I offered to stay up all night and do it for you. YN, no, I know, I'm sorry. I'm such an idiot. I completely blanked. But hey, it's fine. It's only for 2 hours. Her tone of guilty apology mixed with forced cheerfulness. Taehyung, only for 2 hours? I have to be at the theme park in an hour. I can't wait for 2 hours. You know I can't let you walk home alone. YN, look, it's really okay. I promise. I feel super guilty, but you are already exhausted. Just go straight home, eat something. I left sandwiches in the kitchen and then head to work. I can take a bus, or I'll call a cheap taxi. I'm a grown woman, Taehyung sighed, running a hand through his hair. Taehyung, you are the most irresponsible. Ugh, I can't believe this. I'm worried sick about you walking home. YN, please, don't worry so much. I'm sorry for being such a forgetful pregnant lady. Just go. I'll text you the minute I get out. Taehyung, fine, but you call me as soon as you step outside that building. Do you understand? YN, yes, my furious teddy bear, I promise. Now go. I love you, Taehyung. I love you too. Be safe, and we are having a very long talk about your assignments tonight. He hung up, still shaking his head, a complex mix of frustration and worry settling over him as he hurried toward the apartment. 2 hours later, detention finally ended. YN walked out of the college gate tiredly, immediately texting Taehyung that she was heading home. She decided to walk the short distance to the bus stop. She was walking down a quieter side street near campus when she spotted a commotion. Jungkook was standing beside his expensive sports car, which had a completely flat tire. He was aggressively arguing with a tow truck driver who was refusing to help him because Jungkook didn't have cash and his credit card was declined. The driver was being rude, and Jungkook, already fuming, was getting increasingly agitated. Jungkook, I told you, just tow it. I'll wire you the money. Driver, cash only kid, your fancy car doesn't change the rules. Now move, I got real jobs to do. Jungkook, red-faced, kicked his tire in frustration. He was arrogant and hot-headed, but right now, he just looked helpless and utterly defeated. YN, seeing the scene, she noticed he's wearing a jacket with Taehyung's university's baseball team logo on it. She understand he's in Taehyung's university. YN hesitated for a second, then walked over. YN, excuse me, what seems to be the problem? Jungkook looked at her, irritated, ready to snap at the stranger. Jungkook, stay out of it. Girl, YN ignored him and addressed the driver sweetly. YN, sir, he just needs a tire change, right? It's close. I can pay you the cash now, and he can pay me back. How much is the service call? The driver quoted a price. YN took out the cash she had saved for the week's groceries and handed it over. YN, please help him out, it's late. The driver, surprised by her sudden intervention, pocketed the cash and immediately got to work. Jungkook was speechless, his ego was too big to ask for help, and now this girl, the stranger, had paid for his rescue. Jungkook, hey, why did you do that? I don't need your charity. I'll pay you back. YN just smiled kindly. YN, it's fine. Just make sure you get home safe. I'll get my money when I see you next in class. Don't worry about it. She gave him a casual wave and continued walking toward the bus stop, leaving the now quiet and slightly humbled Jungkook staring after her, the incident having made him an instant, secret admirer of his rival's wife. Meanwhile, Taehyung was already at the theme park, frantically scrubbing a stain off the teddy bear suit before clocking in. The worry about YN walking home alone was eating him alive. He decided to call her, ignoring the rule against using his phone on the job. Taehyung, YN, where are you? Are you on the bus? He asked in low, hurried voice, only to hear her cheerful tone. YN, hey bear, yeah, I just sat down. Everything's fine, I swear. I even got to witness some drama on the way. Taehyung, drama? What drama? Never mind, just tell me when you get home, and don't talk to anyone. Just then the manager shouted right behind him. Manager, what are you doing? Put that damn phone away, you're on the clock. I don't pay you $80 a day to chat. Get that costume on and get to the entrance now. Taehyung flinched and quickly ended the call, shoving the phone back into his pocket, before whispering to YN, Taehyung, I have to go, text me, be safe. He quickly pulled the stifling bear head over his own, his anger at the manager quickly mixing with his frustration over YN's irresponsibility. Later that night, Taehyung came home, utterly drained, but he wasn't going to let it slide. YN was waiting for him, looking guilty. Taehyung, go put your dinner away. We need to talk about that assignment, he said in a firm voice, putting his hands on his hips. YN, muttering I already ate. Taehyung, YN, I don't care if you're the best cook in the world, you have a responsibility to your education, and right now, your body needs you to be stress-free. YN, pouting, trying to sound funny, but detention was kind of a fun adventure. Everyone was really bored, and I made a paper airplane. Taehyung, cutting her off, his worry showing. Stop it, this is not funny. You walked home late alone because you couldn't fill out a paper. I spent 2 hours at work today terrified that something had happened to you. You have 2 babies depending on you to take care of yourself. What if your phone had died? What if you had felt sick again? YN looked down, the guilt finally taking over. YN, I know. I'm really sorry Taehyung. I wasn't thinking. I promise. I will never leave an assignment until the last minute again. I won't cause you that worry. Taehyung sighed, his anger deflating. He was too tired to sustain it. He walked over, pulled her into a hug, and kissed the top of her head. Taehyung, just promise me you'll be careful. Twinkle and sparkles Yama. We need you to be safe. Now, come here. I need a hug that cures a bad day. She smiled and jumped into his arms. Taehyung kissed her head. After some time, YN looked up at Taehyung, resting her chin on his chest. YN, tomorrow is the weekend. Taehyung, I know, but I have to go to work. You know weekends mean Russian theme parks? YN broke the hug with a sad pout. Taehyung chuckled and held her chin gently. Taehyung, how about we go on a date tomorrow? YN, how? You said you have to go to work. Taehyung, I did, but I also talked with the manager. Tomorrow, I'll do the morning shift, and I'll be free before evening. YN's face lit up. She smiled brightly. YN, really? That means we can go out tomorrow? Taehyung, for sure. The next morning, Taehyung left for work early. YN felt bored, so she decided to go on a walk. She didn't know much about the roads or areas in this new town, as she was new here. The only way she knew well was toward her college, so she decided to walk toward the scenic lake that was right next to the university campus. On her way, she met Jungkook on the same road she saw him yesterday. He was leaning against the fender of his now repaired sports car, clearly waiting for someone. He noticed YN and immediately walked toward her. Jungkook, here's your money girl, he said, handing her the exact amount of cash she had paid the tow truck driver. YN was genuinely surprised. YN, were you waiting for me? Jungkook, I don't keep anyone's kindness. YN, what if I didn't come this way today? Jungkook, then I'd come tomorrow. Now move girl, I don't have the whole day. He turned sharply, ready to leave. Just as Jungkook was about to get in his car, a massive, sleek black sedan pulled up sharply behind his car. A man in a sharp suit, older, with a severe expression that was an intensified version of Jungkook's own, stepped out. This was clearly someone important and intimidating. Man, Jungkook, why are you still standing here? You should be at the company already. What are you doing leaning on that toy of yours? Jungkook instantly straightened up, his usual arrogance completely disappearing, replaced by a defensive rigidity. Jungkook, father, I was just heading out. Father, heading out? You missed the meeting again. That's the 3rd one this week. Do you think you can skip your duties just because you're playing childish games in a college? Look at you. You're an embarrassment to the Jeon name. your cousin Junghyun is running to departments already, and you can't even get out of bed on time. The verbal humiliation was intense and public. Jungkook clenched his jaw, his eyes darting down, unable to meet his father's gaze. In front of this powerful man, the feared university bully, Jeon Jungkook, was absolutely nobody. Seeing the raw vulnerability and shame on his face, Y.R.N intervened, stepping right up next to Jungkook. Y.R.N, excuse me, sir. I think you have the wrong impression. The father turned his harsh gaze onto Y.N. Father, and who are you? Y.N. I'm Y.R.N. Jungkook and I were just finishing up a tutoring session. He stayed up very late studying for a huge assignment he has due in his advanced business class. He's actually been working incredibly hard and helping me too. That's why he missed the early meeting. Jungkook stared at Y.R.N, stunned by the lie. Father, tutoring? In the middle of the street? Y.N. Well, we just finished, and his car was blocking mine. He's a very dedicated student, sir. He's not wasting time. He's planning his future. You should be proud. The father hesitated, taken aback by Y.N's confident, polite defense. His rigid face softened slightly. Father, hey well, see that you keep it up, Jungkook, study harder. He gave Y.R.N a brief, grudging nod, then got back into his sedan and drove off. Jungkook remained frozen for a moment, then turned slowly to Y.N. Jungkook, you lied for me. Y.R.N, I didn't lie. I just helped you. Your father seems very strict. You're trying to prove something to him, aren't you? By winning silly baseball games. Jungkook looked away, his ego bruised, but his heart surprisingly affected. Y.N, here, take this. She took a small piece of gum from her pocket and offered it to him. Y.R.N, you're very egoistic, but at the same time, you're kind of innocent. Find something you truly love to be good at, okay? She didn't wait for his reaction. She smiled and walked past him, continuing her path toward the lake, leaving Jungkook standing by his car, the taste of the bubblegum surprisingly sweet in his mouth, his admiration for his rival's girl now skyrocketing. Taehyung's shift was supposed to end at 5 p.m. He was buzzing with excitement, thinking about his date with Y.R.N. Soon, the clock struck 5, and Taehyung was already heading toward the back exit when the manager stopped him. Manager, hey, where are you going? The guy for the next shift hasn't come yet. You have to stay until he gets here. Taehyung agreed. Seeing no other choice, he thought the other boy would surely arrive in 5 or 10 minutes. Meanwhile, Y.R.N was super excited. She took out the new dress Taehyung had bought for her, a soft, flowing blue one, and started getting ready. She didn't know where he would take her tonight, but she had decided they would definitely go stargazing after their date. Y.R.N finished getting ready and began waiting for Taehyung. Taehyung checked the time inside the suit. 7 p.m. 2 hours had passed, but the next guy hadn't shown up. He kept dancing with the smiley bear mask on, but inside, he felt a crushing wave of sadness, anger, and desperation. He was desperate to see his wife, knowing she was waiting, but the manager wouldn't let him leave. Y.R.N checked the time again. It had been 2 hours since she was ready. Every minute, she felt a burst of excitement, thinking she heard the door, and that he had finally arrived, but he didn't. Y.N, don't worry, twinkle and sparkle, Appa will be here soon, she said softly, gently stroking her tummy, and starting to play with the delicate fabric of her new dress. The clock struck 10 p.m. Taehyung kept dancing, but now, actual tears were streaming down his face, hidden beneath the bear's happy foam smile. He couldn't go home, the relief guy didn't come, and the manager refused to let him go, especially since more people kept arriving. All he could think about was his wife, waiting, all dressed up. Y.R.N tiredly looked at the time. She gave a small sad smile. Y.N, he couldn't make it on time. Taehyung finally managed to drag himself home sometime after midnight, his face etched with weariness and disappointment. He pushed the door open, ready to apologize for ruining their night, but he stopped dead in his tracks. The whole small apartment was transformed. It was dark, but dozens of tiny candles flickered softly on the dining table and counters. A delicious, savory aroma of food filled the air. Y.N walked out of the kitchen, wearing the same beautiful new dress. She looked tired, but her genuine, soft smile surprised him. He had expected sadness or upset, not this magical scene. Y.N, welcome home, honey. I arranged a dinner date for us. Did you like it? Taehyung couldn't hold his emotions anymore. The exhaustion, the humiliation, the guilt, it all broke. He dropped his bag and lunged forward, hugging her so tightly he almost lifted her off the floor. Taehyung, I'm so sorry. I couldn't make it on time. I tried so hard, but he wouldn't let me leave. YN squeezed him back, rubbing soothing circles on his back. YN, you shouldn't be sorry. It's not your fault. You worked for us. Now come, let's have our dinner. After that, we'll still go for stargazing. Taehyung, as you say, my love. They ate the dinner. YN had prepared a simple, warm, and perfect meal, shared over candlelight. The taste was better than any expensive restaurant, simply because they were together. Afterward, YN led him to the window. It wasn't perfect, but she opened it wide. YN, see, the stars are still out. Look at them, twinkle and sparkle. Taehyung wrapped his arms around her from behind, resting his chin on her shoulder. They stood there, silent, looking up at the scattered lights of the night sky. The soft breeze felt like a gentle wash over his spirit. Taehyung, this is better than any date I could have planned. YN, all that matters is that we're here now, together. They finally collapsed into bed, the candles extinguished, but the warmth remaining. Taehyung held his wife close, his hands resting on her flat tummy, feeling the promise of their twins, twinkle and sparkle. He was a lowly mascot, sometimes humiliated, but in this small, candlelit space, he was the richest man in the world. He kissed her forehead, whispering his thanks to her, his true star, before they both drifted off into a deep, peaceful sleep, safe in each other's embrace.